Hello, this is Laura Valentina, and upon request from you, my admirers, fans, readers, listeners of all of my audiobooks, I'm going to be reading to you a few of my paperback books, 4 titles, and I'll put the link in the description to each title as well as a link to all of my paperback books. But this morning I'm going to read only 4 of my titles. I have like 8, but upon a special request, I'm going to read 4 of my paperback books, and I'm going to be reading to you the first title, which is Diary of Dreams. I first wrote this in 2010, I want to say. Yeah. And Diary of Dreams is basically about just all of my dreams that I've had, my paranormal experiences that I've had, a lot of the beautiful women that I've been with. You know that I am a lesbian, and I really love women, and of course they really love me. Of course you know that by all of my audiobooks. But in this particular book, Diary of Dreams, which I wrote, as I said, in 2010, alright, so let's start with the first page, beginning with my first funeral. Dear Diary, I attended my first funeral when I was 3 years old. It was a funeral for someone I loved. As I peer back into that time of her death, I recall she wore a beautiful lavender gown and white lace of string of pearls draped around her pale neck. The atmosphere was dreamy, surrounding everyone that was there in a faint blue light that cascaded over everyone. It made her lavender dress stand out. Her peaceful expression on her face was angelic to me. This was but a faded memory in the solitary corners of my mind that drifts back into a place whenever I see the color lavender, and that's why I love that shade of purple, to be known for its tranquil scents. Alice. Dear Diary, my next funeral I attended was Alice's. She died when I was very young. She was a friend of the family. Her funeral was beautiful, never to be forgotten. She was dressed in white lace. This funeral was lit up with bright lights, and Alice's face was painted as if she was the belle of her own ball. Death of my deceased beloved. Dear Diary, a week at their house, holding their hand as they lay in a coma. Their last wish was to die at peace at home. Then on Sunday of that week, they passed away, crossed over. Their face was pale, ghostly white. Everyone was around them at the time of their death. The night before midnight, October 30th. It was a windy night until they had gone. Then the sky turned stormy and lightning bolted. I was only 15 years old when they died that night, and they were 30 years old. Just 2 months after their birthday, he died. He was a part of my family, and they died in peace, just as they wished. This is the notes to me of that night, and for years after that I felt frozen, but not afraid of death, because I saw them die right in front of my face. Death is no stranger to me any longer. After that, this experience of death that is forever imprinted in my mind taught me to live life, and that life is just too short. A dream of light and shadow. Dear Diary, last night my dream was strange. It wasn't in color. I dreamt in black and white, in shadow and light. My dream took place at another time, the 1960s or 70s. Classy. I was in a limousine with a most handsome soul. Her and I made love. Her hands taking me to places I'd never been. The moonroof opened, and I felt the fresh air upon me. The sweet scent of the air was intoxicating. I awoke from this dream, drenched in hot, wet cum. I awoke from this dream with my own juices, and their taste was beautiful. Okay. Blood dreams, or sangre dreams. It's blood in Spanish, Sangra. It means blood in Spanish. Dear Diary, I awoke from another dream. I wrote this poem in regards to it. Bleeding in my sleep, the pain, the agony, the feel as death has come to me once more, once again. I woke at 6 this morning with blood dripping from me. My dream was about blood. I was bleeding in my sleep. I awoke from this dream bleeding. All the more sickening things. To awake in the early hours in the morning. So I took control and fell asleep once again, dreaming into oblivious once more. Dreams much older than me. Dear Diary, this dream was not in color. It was in black and white again. I was a voyeur in this older couple making passionate love in their house. Dark blood red carpet, candles burning slowly. I could feel the erotic sensual energy cascading themselves throughout the room. As I absorbed this energy running through my veins, I felt invigorated. I felt intoxicated with their emotions. Beautiful. Dreams of my loves. Dear Diary, I dreamt of my loves. My lesbian lover. She was at her home, in bed. She didn't like what was going on. It was crazy, bad dreams that I would love to put a match and lit those bad dreams on fire. A dream of my beloved in spirits. Dear diary, I dreamt of them tonight. I know they've passed away, but we meet in dreams on a regular basis. I felt their energy with me. It was so beautiful. These next series of dreams I had that I wrote about within this book that I wrote, Diary of Dreams, is about, it's more of a paranormal sense, and it's about the same entity, ENTITY, entity that appears in my reoccurring dreams because they've appeared in it more than once. So I've had several of these dreams with the same entity. This first dream that I had of a series of dreams with the same entity is called Door Dreams. DOOR. Like you're opening a door. Dear diary, in this dream I had in 2008, one of a series of dreams I had with the same entity in them. I continue to have dreams, now a year later, with the same entity as well in these dreams I am still having. In this dream, I was walking through a hallway. A door, there I went through it. There was an entity there, smiling. I felt I knew them from somewhere. They were young and beautiful and handsome. I shook their hand and they smiled. The dream was good and I felt good. There was some kind of connection, a good one, good energy within this dream. Water Dreams. Dear diary, this is the second in the series of dreams I've had with the same entity in them. In this dream, I was in a swimming pool underwater. I felt them guiding me to the other side of the pool. When I opened my eyes, it was blurry. When we got to the surface, they were behind me. All they said was, I am not here to hurt you. I am here to heal you. In my waking life, I had been physically drained and physically assaulted by some maniac. So, that would explain my feeling of fear in this dream. However, when I woke from this dream, I did search about swimming pools within dreams, and all it said was, if you dream of pools in your dreams, you are getting over an issue you had in your waking life. So I gather that information and validate it or with solving problems and moving forward in my life. Blood Dreams. Dear diary, I have these types of dreams at times. At night, sometimes in the day, with the same entity in them. When I awake from these dreams, I feel rejuvenated. Spiral dreams. Dear Diary, in this dream, the same entity was in blood and door dreams, was in this dream as well. In this dream, we go through a spiral. I feel I am floating, but have no way of stopping myself. I feel woozy or dizzy or just out of control. They told me to just let go, and I did. Things got better. They told me they were there in the dream to heal, a source of healing. Healing. Pyramid dreams. Dear Diary, I have dreamt of Egypt before. It was hot. It was furnace hot. I remember feeling a source of energy within the dream. I found that later on, it meant I would travel, and I have traveled 4 times since this dream. Energy dreams. Dear Diary, within these dreams, I feel drained of my energy, and at other times, I have dreams that I feel I am given energy by the same entity that was in my dreams. So either way, I give and receive energy. When my energy is drained in these dreams, I know that it's in my waking life before I dream this dream. I felt stressed out about whatever it was. When I fall asleep, my energy is drained. When I wake up from this dream, I felt better, more invigorated. When I receive energy within this dream from the same entity that's been within the series of dreams, I felt energized when I awake. Mirror dreams. Dear Diary, sometimes mirrors can be portholes to other places. I know this because in my dreams they are. Love dreams. Dear Diary, at the time I was dating my then girlfriend, my lesbian lovers, one of them. And after weeks, she calls me on the phone to break up with me. And that's it. I had a dream a few months after that. I was in her pink pickup truck, and I was with her. It felt like her vibes were struggling with her feelings. Like she was struggling with her feelings, so that was a vibe I got. She was struggling with feelings of the breakup and how she wanted to get back together with me again. I know in my waking life, I just wanted to move on forward in my life. Then on Mother's Day, 2009, I was walking home with flowers to my mom, and I hear someone say, "Hey, Laura." I knew who it was, and I felt awkward. But I knew from the vibes that I got that day that she had missed me from the tone of her voice. Lancet Dreams. Dear Diary, in this dream, I was in a bloodmobile donating blood, and the same entity was there throughout my recent dreams. And they were there in this dream as well. In my waking life, I have never donated blood because I've been anemic. This dream was beautiful, very sensual. I was scared only because I've never done it before. Their energy was comforting. They took my arm and proceeded to obtain my blood as a donation. In return, I felt rejuvenated from this dream. I awoke invigorated. It was a transfer of energy. It's a continuation of blood dreams, the entity that was in door dreams, blood dreams, and now lancet dreams. Let's see. Okay. Hands Dreams. Hands. Dear Diary, in door dreams, I mention an entity in that one. This is a connection between two people, me and the entity, who hold or shake hands, like, tantra. Donation of blood dreams. Like, if you're a donor and you're donating blood, donation. Dear Diary, I had another one of those dreams last night. In my waking life, I've never donated blood. However, in this dream I had last night, I was in a parking lot, and I saw this blood mobile. So I donated yet again for the same entity. Tranquil Dreams. Dear Diary, at times during my waking life, when I found myself stressed out, I would try to sleep. And when I got to sleep, my dreams would be tranquil. Aura Dreams. Dear Diary, I have dreams about energy and people within the dream who give me energy. When I'm awake, I feel energized. Energy Dreams, NRG, like energy. Dear Diary, I have mentioned in later entries or earlier entries of dreams I posted, I have energy dreams as well. The dream consisted of the entity has been in my dreams for the past year now. In these energy dreams, I was given energy from them. When I awake in these dreams, I can go about my day or night, rather, feeling like energized. In this particular dream, I'm in the back seat of a speeding car with the entity I mentioned above. We are not talking, well, not in a verbal sense anyway. I can hear their thoughts running through my mind, like telepathy. What they are saying to me, speaking to me in my mind, that I can be myself with the entity. I can feel their energy very compassionate and understanding. My waking life. Furniture dreams. Dear Diary, same entity in this dream as in most of the dreams I have mentioned earlier I have. I'm in my living room, sitting in a chair. I turn around and there they are. We were in embracement. I felt my energy draining from me, but I awoke, recharged, and better. A dream with, excuse me, a dream within a dream. Dear Diary, ever had one of those dreams where you see yourself sleeping, or see yourself in a hotel bedroom? That's how this dream went for me. Again, same entity. In this dream, I saw myself. I was in a hotel on a blue bed, the color blue. I was facing the blue walls when I felt something behind me, whispering in my ear. They were facing me, whispering what he wanted me to understand. Very compassionate. It was if the consolement that I was going through in my waking life. Room dreams. Dear Diary, the following is a continuation of dreams that started in 2008. These next dreams all happened in 2009. This dream, room dreams, was at 10 p.m. at night. As I mentioned in the section of Diary of Dreams, the same entity is in these, just different settings. They're all reoccurring dreams. Room dreams, it's a dream itself. Embracement dreams. Dear Diary, I had this dream twice. Both were one was in the morning, the other one was in the daytime. Same entity was in these. I felt their presence, their energy, their embrace. Well, the title is self-explanatory. Hands-on dreams. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 10 at night. I was lucid dreaming. The entity reoccurred in this dream as well. I felt their heads massaging me. Zen dreams. Z-E-N. And today is Sunday. Another beautiful Zen day. Dear Diary, I had this dream from 10 to 11 this morning. This dream was like Zen, tantric. The same entity was in this dream. Prayer dreams. Dear Diary, I had this dream 3 times on 3 different nights, all occurring at 10 at night. The entity was in this one, the same entity. They were in a church setting in prayer form. The other two dreams were of them in prayer mode. They had good thoughts. Telepathy dreams. Telepathy. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 10 at night. In this dream, the same entity has reoccurred. They are sitting on a bed, their hands in prayer format, reaching out. Their thoughts were concentrated on me. Good thoughts. Autumn dreams, like the season autumn in September, October, November. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 7 this morning. In this dream, it was a beautiful autumn day, and I was walking through my old neighborhood of Miami, Florida. I was walking on the sidewalk going in my old house. White papers were flying everywhere. The same entity was in this dream as well. I was talking to them. We discussed school, the events of going with me to school, and my efforts. Just before I awoke from this dream, I felt energy from them. It was invigorating. In my waking life on this date shown, I had been going to culinary arts school in Tampa, Florida, when I had this dream. Sensual dreams. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 7:15 this morning. This dream, the entity and I were with another woman in this dream. Very beautiful and erotic and sensual. I watched as they went on engaging in their sensual acts. Their energy transferring over to me was beautiful. ESP dreams, other known as extrasensual perception, or as some may call it, extrasensory perception. It's the ESP. Dear Diary, within this dream, it was fog-like atmosphere, almost as if it were a mist within the dream. My conclusion, I received good notions as well as good energy from this dream. ESP in dreams, or meaning in dreams. Phone dreams. Dear Diary, this dream occurred twice at 2 different days and times as well. One at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the other at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Both phone dreams had the same entity in these reoccurring dreams that I'm having since Dora dreams. I am in some mansion, one that is empty, open space in its daytime. I'm talking with this entity, whom has been reoccurring in these dreams for the past 8 months to a year now, maybe a year and a half. We're talking about dreams. I mentioned to them that I have strange dreams that are nightmarish only when I'm in my mother's house. I go visit her from time to time. When I get approached by ladies I knew in my waking life from the gym. It's almost like the Poltergeist movie. In this dream, there's a pink rotary phone. I awake after that segment. They're here. The second phone dream I also mentioned in the date above. The entity I mentioned is in this other dream. I am in a car, the back seat. My cell phone rings. I answer it, saying hello. I hear their voice sounding happy. They said, "Is this Laura?" I said, "Yes, this is she." They said, "It's so good to hear your voice." Now, what I got from this dream was good energy. I know even in my waking life that I can feel their energy. I can feel energy through phones. I guess the only way to describe it is like a vibe. It's like a sixth sense. Okay. Blue Dreams. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This dream I had was just before I awoke this morning to go to work. Prominent detail within this dream was the color blue. I was talking with this entity that's been in all of my reoccurring dreams so far. And the topic of discussion was love versus sex. And I gathered from this dream the receiving of good energy. Rain dreams, like rainstorms, thunderstorms, hail. Dear Diary, I have dreams of rain, the dates of these rain dreams. On many occasions, when I dream of rain, they're usually me walking in the rain, or just being at home on a rainy day, listening to music. These dreams are wonderful. They consume best energy ever. Okay. Healing crystal dreams. Now, I don't know how you feel about crystals, but I know for that in my experience with them is crystals or gemstones, crystals or gemstones. If you put them in your hand, you can feel a certain energy, and that means that they are real. Like most jewelers, sometimes they try to sell you stuff like, jewelry or gemstones or whatnot. Sometimes they're not real, and they're just doing it to make money, of course. But if you hold the gemstone or crystal, rather, in your hand, and you feel certain energy, that means that they are authentic. But in this dream I titled it Healing Crystal Dreams. Dear Diary, this dream occurred at 10 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Same entity reoccurring in this dream. We discussed how crystals can heal. Apocalypse Dream. Dear Diary, This dream occurred at 4:15 a.m. I awoke from the dream this morning, and all I can tell you is that this dream I had was in 4 segments because of the number of subjects. There were apocalypse, spirituality, matters of the heart, and energy. Dreams of the Tantric. A Dear Diary. This dream occurred February 9, 2010. As I woke from this dream, I felt very beautiful. The same entity was in them the same one that has been in my reoccurring dream since 2008. This dream was filled with erotic energy. I awoke from it feeling energized. Dragon dreams. You know, like the Chinese animal or zodiac. This dream occurred May 30th, 2010. The time was in the afternoon. The subjects were compassion, women, masculinity, love, strength, femininity, or intention. Okay. Let's see.
A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. August 14, 2010. I woke from this dream and as I write it down because in this dream was a song. And as I write this diary entry, I can't get the song out of my head. I'm sure you guys will be familiar with this one. In this dream, the song was Night and Day by Al B. Shore. You know, from 1988. Right now, my mind is like a VCR in rewind of this dream. I was in a car that this entity that has been in my same dreams since 2008, they were driving the car. It was in sepia gauzy color. The energy I received from this dream was sensual. Okay. Alright. Dreams and presences of another beautiful entity. These dreams and presences occurred from September 2010. Well, they occurred in September in 2010 until 2012. But for right now, when I wrote this book, Diary of Dreams, this was September of 2010. They were about another entity. All I can say about this entity was they were beautiful. And also, since I've been communicating with them on a telepathic level, as I always do with all of my entities or paranormal experiences or spirits or family or friends or lovers or girlfriends, that I can hear their thoughts that cross my mind, which is telepathy. You know, every time I go out to eat or eat, I always feel sensual. I always feel their presence with me. I feel their eyes staring back at me as if they understand how I felt. September 1st, 2010. Dear Diary, today I went out and I bought some fuchsia hair dye at Hot Topic. A Hot Topic store, you know, the goth punk store. I've always wanted to dye my hair a different color for a long time now. As I'm dyeing my hair, I receive what I call a psychic fax. Telepathy, if someone's trying to talk to you or communicate with you on a non-verbal level, they're trying to connect to your mind. Basically what telepathy is you don't speak verbally, but you speak through your mind. If you're trying to get a hold of somebody, you can always talk to them, send your thoughts or energy to them, and they'll communicate with you. Sometimes they'll call you on the phone afterwards, like if you think of somebody and you have this very strong feeling that they're thinking of you, but they're really thinking of you really strongly. A thought pops into your head about them. And then a few minutes later, your phone will ring and it's them. Well, that's a sign of telepathy, or it's validating the fact that they are thinking of you, which is very true. And in this case, well, it's happened to me very often, in my life anyway. I have that sort of connection with people. People I meet, people I've known, friends, family, lovers, well, women, of course, beautiful, gorgeous women, Okay. I received a psychic fax from them because their thoughts have crossed my mind about thinking of me for showing appreciation of them. And as I got done with my hair, I checked my email. Sure enough, my instincts were correct. They did send me a thank you. So in that case, yeah, they were thinking of me, and their thoughts crossed my mind, and yeah, it was a telepathic message, or a psychic fax, as I like to call it. October dreams. These dreams occurred in October 2010. Dear Diary, this month my dreams and waking life have been wonderful because music or listening to music caresses my soul as I feel divine. The entity, I'll just say, that occurs within these dreams that I've had since September 2010. Their energy is prominent and comforting. November dreams. These dreams occurred throughout November 2010. They are still with the They are still with the same entity who has been reoccurring in them since September 2010. Dear Diary, this month has been beautiful. Yes, at times I am in pain, but their energy cascades throughout me, and the pain subsides. Autumn is here, and I love the fresh autumn air. December dreams. Dear Diary, this month of October is winding down this year. It's been a successful year, and I've been doing my art shows and my new book, Immortally Yours, one of my poem or prose, my first book. I am making my dreams a reality and love it. Their energy, the entity from September 2010, their energy is beautiful and divine. I shall write more soon. 2011, a new year to start again. January 2011. Dear Diary, Happy New Year 2011. They're still with me. Their energy and their presence are wonderful. February 2011. Dear Diary, February is their birthday month of the entity from September 2010. The day before Valentine's Day. Very romantic to be born on that day. I wrote them, wishing them a happy birthday that's filled with luscious sweetness. And in return of my dream that fell on their birthday was exactly that. The dream took place in a pastel pink room filled with candles and roses. We are in a tantric position. It's very erotic. I could hear my breathing getting up there in this beautiful erotic dream. We are in a blue shower, holding each other, their energy running through my veins. It was a beautiful dream. Okay. All right. Epilogue. A message to you, my readers. I wrote this on Thursday, March 3rd, 2011 at 10:35 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Dear readers, I still have dreams and feel the entity's presence from September 2010. Throughout my waking life, I still continue to write about my paranormal experiences and share with you my most intimate, decadent desires. Thank you for purchasing your copy of my latest book, Diary of Dreams. It was my pleasure writing this all night. I shall write more as this continues. Also, I have just gotten interviewed by Twisted Dreams magazine. Enjoy. Love, yours truly, Laura Valentina. Okay, so I'm going to read this interview that is also within this book that I wrote, Diary of Dreams. My interview with Twisted Dreams magazine. Hello, Laura and Jaeger, my first guide dog that I ever had. Some of you may know that yes, I am visually impaired, and I have been since birth. And I had, at the time, a guide dog named Jaeger, which I did retire. But at the current time, she was with me. Thank you for visiting us today. Hello, and thank you for this interview. It was a pleasure to do this. Tell us a little about yourself. Well, for starters, I've always loved art since I was younger. It's become one of my many passions in my life to pursue, as well as writing. My first book, Immortally Yours, debuted in November 2010. It is my writings on an intimate level, my experiences I've had throughout my life. A thank you goes out to all my readers and admirers of my work. Tell us about Jaeger. Jaeger I obtained from Southeastern Guide Dogs in Palmetto, Florida, May 2007. And the reason I obtained her was because I'm visually impaired. The reason why I got her is because, well, I have usable vision, but if I lost my sight, I'd already be trained to her. So I'd already have that tool. Like, as a guide dog, she would be my eyes. With your visual impairment, how did you get past what had to be odds to become as popular as you have become? To answer that question, Twisted Dreams, I've always believed in holding a positive attitude, because by having one, you can go to places you never thought possible. Even when there are people out there that have negative attitudes towards you and they do not believe in you, I feel that if you believe in yourself, you will go far. Also, there are people who think of disability as a limitation. I, for one, do not limit myself or set boundaries, as I feel one needs to push past that in order to move forth in life. Were there times when you thought the road might be too hard to trek and that the end result just not worth it, the struggle? Of course, definitely. As humans, you tend to, at times, break down and stress out over a situation such as the above question ponders. However, you've got to get back up. And though you may not be able to change the past, you can always start over again and into the present. You can change the present that will reflect your future, and it will be better. Tell us about your art. What inspires it? My current art show, The Art of Life, is going on at the beginning of February 1st, 2011, and will continue through April 29th, 2011, at the local library, Newport Richey at City Hall. I started this one out with 10 canvases of art. I sold my first painting the first day of my art show, titled Night and Day. This is my third art show, and I am working on a fourth art show in the coming year of next year, 2012. A portion of the proceeds of my art sold are going to go to my school where I obtained my guide dog Jaeger, Southeastern Guide Dogs, in order to give back to my school, give back to my community, as they have a puppy program of 2 years, and it helps with that in proceeding of moving forward with guide dogs and whatnot, and helping those who are also blind or visually impaired. So it's my way of giving back to my community. I'm often get asked, how do you create your art? I paint in the nude. Yes, I am naked. I create most of my art in my apartment at midnight, in the early hours of the morning, with music caressing the background of my apartment walls. As I work on my latest creations of my art, I love it. I feel my most free when I paint. I painted for people that I know, mostly my lovers, my beautiful women in my life. They all have been over my apartment at night, and I'll paint for them. The end result feeling I get is invigorating, beautifully divine. You have a new book out on the market. Tell us about that and what inspired you to write it. My new book, Immortally Yours and Diary of Dreams, but Immortally Yours came out in November 2010, and Diary of Dreams came out in March of 2011, which I'm reading to you right now, Diary of Dreams. These books, these two latest books in that time frame, 2010, 2011, were about my paranormal experiences I've had throughout my life, different subjects such as love, dreams, and passion, and some were on an intimate level. It's poetry in prose format, very erotic and sensual. I'd recommend to anyone's reading list, those who are fans of author Anne Rice and Annie's Nin. They would love it as well. Any advice for any up-and-coming visually impaired creatives like yourself? Well, harness the power of positive energy. That's how I would answer that question. And you shall go far in your life as doing so. Always believe in yourself. And even though you think at times it's a struggle, know you can do anything you put your heart, mind, and soul to. And in doing so, you can accomplish your dreams and goals. Your deepest desires shall be quenched. What new projects are you working on? I'm currently working on another book that will be out later this year. It's of my paranormal experiences I've had throughout my life. It's poem in poetry form, prose format. Okay. Thanks so much for visiting with us today, Laura and Jaeger, my guide dog. And best of luck in 2011. Well, thank you, Twisted Dreams, for having me today. I enjoyed this interview. It was wonderful. All right, my darklings. I hope you've enjoyed Diary of Dreams. It was one of my first books. Immortally Yours was my first, but since it's a popular by-demand book, I do not have a copy. Otherwise, I'd read it to you. So I decided to read Diary of Dreams now. And the next book I will be reading to you will be Roses in the Rain. All right, my darklings, stay tuned for more. And this is Laura Valentina saying, I love you all.